They cannot hold together this garbage, this propaganda, this bullshit very much longer. And yet they're trying. They're trying. Here he is.
We have been.
Hold on. This is Lawrence Wilkerson, Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, former chief aide to Colin Powell, who has really turned against the empire. Anyway, and I'm going to try and play almost all of these videos. I think it's like 6 minutes of videos. I'm going to play all of them, but I'll come close because it's all really important.
Warfare state since 9/11, and arguably we've been a warfare state for longer than that. Certainly because of the Cold War, but also we did some extraneous things to the Cold War. It appears to the rest of the world now, and Ukraine is amplifying and making this far more profound. And when I say the rest of the world, I'm talking about polls that indicate 3 billion people think we're insane. They truly think we're insane. They express it in different ways. They express it.
I love that. They think fully think we're insane, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong that the U.S. is fucking insane, out of our minds, psychotic, racing towards nuclear war. And when he says 3 billion people, that's not quite the 80%, because I guess 3 billion, so that's less than half of the world. But those are the ones that think, oh, the U.S. is one poll shows the U.S. is the number one threat to peace around the world. But 80% of the world is living in countries that either did not sign on to U.S. sanctions or are actually actively supporting Russia in the proxy war. Meaning 80% of this world is living in countries, is of the population that does not support the proxy war in one way or another. 80% of the world. So while we live in this bubble in the United States, if you're in the United States, and you probably know what I'm talking about, we live in this bubble where we think, if you turn on CNN or you turn on, PBS or you turn on MSNBC, all these channels, you turn them on and you think that the world has declared that Russia's just 100% wrong. Why the fuck did they do this? They did it out of the blue. Who knows what happened? Putin woke up with wild hair up his ass, and now we've got World War III. Who knows what happened? Putin stubbed his toe, and now we're all screwed. That's what they make you think is going on here. When in fact, most of the world, I'm not saying they support the invasion. A lot of people don't. But they also don't support the U.S. sanctions. They also don't support the stuff the U.S. did to lead to this proxy war. So 80% of this world agrees with you and me on this thing. And 20% of this world is even in countries that support these sanctions. And which doesn't mean that every person supports the sanctions. Obviously, I'm in a country that supports this sanction and this proxy war. Anyway, let's continue.
For example, by being on Putin's side, if you will, even though for them, looking at it from their distant vista, it's aggression on his part. It's crossing international borders without permission, and that's a war crime. Same way we did in Iraq. We committed a war crime in 2003 in Iraq. You could argue Article 51, self-defense under the UN Charter for Afghanistan, but you couldn't argue it for the 20 plus years we stayed in Afghanistan. So if there's a war criminal in the world of imperial posture, it's the United States of America.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know a lot of you are watching this and you're just going, oh yeah, of course, the U.S. is a war criminal. Of course. I know you're yelling, of course, but it's important to see it from people that were in or are in the U.S. ruling elite. This guy was one of them. And so to see it said by those folks that are breaking ranks from the rest of the ruling elite in this country is so important. And it shows how the storyline is falling apart. The thread is unraveling. They cannot hold together this garbage, this propaganda, this bullshit very much longer. And yet they're trying. They're trying.
But still, this business of 3 billion plus people, incidentally, most of those are under some kind of direct or indirect U.S. sanction too. So think about that for a minute. The official list at the Treasury Department is over 32 countries that we have under sanction right now. And the official list does not encompass all of the sanctions, I'll guarantee you. So the rest of the world, particularly people under 35 in poll after poll, show that they believe the United States might, in fact, be the greatest threat to their future. That is a terrible place for a country that professes to be a democracy, indeed a leader in human rights, rule of law, and such, to be in. It's a terrible place.
Yeah, exactly. It shows that we are a late stage empire. That shows that things are not stable. When you are in a good place as an empire, then you might be throwing out all that bullshit. We believe in human rights. We believe in taking care of your neighbor. We believe in helping free speech and free religion. We all those things. When you're in a good place as an empire, you say those things and people believe you. And people go, oh, they stand for human rights and democracy. And favorite color is orange. You know, people believe it, but people don't believe it anymore. People don't. This is what a late stage empire looks like. We're crumbling under debt, trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. The only reason we're so-called rich anymore is because we print our own dollars, so we just keep fucking printing them. We increased the monetary supply by 20% during the pandemic alone. So it's like there's not a lot there. There's not a lot there left in the empire. And now you have people like Wilkerson, former ruling elite, who are coming out against these lies, this bullshit.